What up? What up?
Yeah.
What's good?
Look who came in the house today. We
Hey.
got old
Sir.
Trace Linn.
Hey.
Yes,
Trace,
sir.
what up, man?
Oh, just hanging out, man. Excited to be back. Talk some sports.
Heck yeah, man. Heck
We got
yeah.
a quick update on what you got going on. Where you coaching at right now? What's
Yeah.
going on in your world?
Yeah. Just got the DC job over at Victory Christian here in Tulsa. So we're, small 3A school here, and started back in February of 24, and excited to get started.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. So what's your scheme based on? Like you nickel?
Yeah.
Where you at with it?
We're a 3-man. We run a primarily odd front with the ability. It's more of a hybrid with the ability to run an even front. Got some big kids for a 3A school and athletic linebackers, so I'm trying to utilize those guys as much as possible and put them in the best position to make the plays that we need to be made. So we got some athletes this year. We'll be in the race for sure.
Victory Christian, you guys still playing? You guys play Lincoln Christian?
First game of the year.
Are they still tough?
They're still tough.
Yeah.
We had my senior year. We had a little scrimmage and everything, preseason stuff. We went over there for a little camp over there at Lincoln Christian. They got a nice little place over there, man.
They can play for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Them boys had some pop in them for sure. I'll promise you that.
Yeah.
Sure.
We play them first week, August the 29th, I believe. So we'll see
Who's the toughest teams in your district?
So we've got Lincoln's in 3A. They're obviously a perennial powerhouse, have been for the last few years. Holland Hall's good. Sulphur just got picked to win our district, so they're good. They got a couple of guys with some D1 offers. And then, of course, like over in the Oklahoma City area, you've got like Heritage Hall, who's been good for a long time. And so you've got some schools that can.
What about Washington?
Washington's 2A. So
okay.
Washington and Jones are 2A. Those were the two big the bad boys in 2A, and still will be. But we bumped up because of the private school rule with McGinnis and all that jazz. So Victory the last 2 years has gone 20-4. So because of that win percentage, we got bumped up from 2 to 3.
Wow. Heck yeah, man.
It'll be fun.
Sure. Love it.
Well, let's hop into this.
Congrats, too, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congrats,
That's
man.
awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Trace holds ball, bro.
Only up from here. Bro.
I'm not done yet.
Heck yeah, bro. That's awesome. All right, man. Go ahead, Corey. Get started.
All right, let's do it. Starting off with the AFC South. Let's go NFC. We said NFC first, right? Let's go NFC.
Man. Either way.
All right, we'll start off with the NFC South, and usually the way we do it, Trace, is we go from worst to first from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting off with the Carolina Panthers, not a lot happening for them last year. B, you want to take this one first? You want to start us off?
I expect a bounce back year in his sophomore year from Bryce Young. I think that there's talent there. I mean, he played for Nick Saban, for crying out loud. He was a hell of a college football player for Nick Saban. I just have a little bit more faith that, I think he's going to kind of have a little bounce back year. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be in the running for MVP or anything like that. But as bad as they did last year, all you can do is improve, right? So I think Bryce Young is a smart enough player. I think he's got good enough mechanics. I mean, everything looks to be there. If they can they can protect him, man, and give him a little bit more time in that pocket, because I don't give a damn who you are. If you got that offensive line they got in Carolina, man, there ain't many quarterbacks that's going to come in there and do much for you. So that's kind of my thing. But I do think Bryce Young's going to have a bounce-back year. They still got Adam Thielen over there that I think got a little bit of juice left in the tank. But end all be all, I still think they're going to finish last in this division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Trace, where you at?
Yeah, I'm about the same. I think we're running into a bit of, as an OU fan, it breaks my heart, but we're running into a bit of a Kyler Murray problem down in Carolina. And this is kind of a make or break year for those guys, for the Panthers, in terms of you've got Bryce Young. We know he's got all the talent. He's got the smaller frame. He's got the very questionable, outside of Sticky Aquanu, the very, very questionable offensive line, which I think they replaced 3 of the 5 from last year. So they're looking for upgrades. But I'm a Bengals fan, and we know how looking for upgrades goes. So I don't see any world outside of a surprise breakout from a random guy we're not talking about right now that keeps them at a last in this division. I think they'll be picking top 5 again, and need to go get old Will Johnson from LSU, or not Will Johnson, the big Will Campbell from LSU, that big left tackle.
Oh yeah, that would help. That would help.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. Who'd they get in the draft this year? They
didn't have a pick in the first round because they traded with the Bears.
They did trade up and get Leggett, right?
Xavier Leggett, from South Carolina.
They traded up late to get him. They did sign Deontay Johnson too from the Steelers. I don't think that's a huge addition. I'm not really big on him. I thought he was he only had like 700 yards last year. And Pittsburgh, if they get rid of you at receiver, that's a problem.
Well, what's up with the dang Carolina getting all these has-beens at receiver, bro? Like,
they're just trying to beef it up. They're trying to give them options, man. I mean,
look like a team ain't got no damn draft picks to me.
Well, you got to think about that position for that franchise, that position since Steve Smith. Name me another guy.
DJ Moore. It's probably the only one I can name.
And they shipped him out
the door. Closest one, and they got rid of him.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was like Kelvin Benjamin and Jericho Cotchery and
bus. Big bus. Big old bus.
Yeah.
But that I didn't even think about that though. That's actually a great point, Trace. Steve Smith, man. He was the last elite player. That was literally the last time they went to the Super Bowl too. They ain't did that since.
Musheen Muhammad. Yeah, they had a little squad that year, but no, that's a good point. So I guess we'll leave it there. Finishing last. Old Panthers. All right. Next team. My New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna start this one off.
Go ahead. Go ahead, bud.
Not optimistic at all. We didn't fix our O-line issues. Alvin Kamara starting to get up there in age. He's had a down year last year. It was a horrible year, really. Not a lot of optimism, guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't think Derek Carr's the guy. We paid him a lot of money though. The bright spot is Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. Those are 2 good receivers in my opinion. Chris Olave he's
nice.
He's nice, right?
I like him.
But defensively, we're getting older. It's just we're capped. We're strung by the cap. We can't really do anything. We're one of the worst cap teams in the league. It's just a shit show. So
you're literally in the position that my Vikings were in. Literally in the same position. Like when my Vikings, like with Daniil Hunter and all them boys, like when they had Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, you know what I'm saying? All those kind of players, they were paying them X amount of dollars. Those players aren't worth X amount of dollars. That's why when the GM, even Dalvin Cook, even Adam Thielen, that's why they're no longer a part of my team. But, Corey, you know just as well as anybody, this is just how the league works. This is whenever it comes down to the business side of things, right? You guys just haven't made those business decisions that you need to in order to take that next step. Because basically what you need to do is you need to rip it down to the studs and rebuild this.
And they don't want to do that. Look, they're hanging hope that Derek Carr is going to be that bridge.
Is Michael Thomas still on y'all's roster?
No, we got rid of him.
Thank God. Good job.
I'm still waiting for him to show back up.
Like, my gosh. You know what I mean?
Can nobody guard Mike because he don't play with a running joke.
And the
man in New Orleans.
Defense, you still got Mathieu, right? You got Tyrone Mathieu.
Yeah, we still got the Honey Badger, but all those guys are aging out, is what I'm saying. And what you said, tear it down to the studs. That's where we got to go.
You do,
you know
too.
What I mean? Because we're over the cap. It's gross. The cap situation is gross. It's it was poorly mismanaged. We thought we had a shot. It was that last year with Drew Brees and where we got hosed in the NFC Championship game against the Rams, and that just kind of set off a freaking cascade of events, signing bad contracts, bad money. Good thing is, though, it's the NFC South.
Yeah.
And the rest of the division is kind of shit.
Yeah.
Right? So in that regard, we have some hope. think, Trace?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you guys said. You've got old contracts, and B. Hill mentioned the Vikings talking about ripping it out from the studs. You see, there wasn't that much, if any, of a drop off defensively from the year that happened to the Vikings to last year, right? So
Nope.
you get guys, you end up getting guys like Ivan Pace, top 5 in the NFL in tackles. As
I'm excited. I'm excited
Right.
about him.
But you've got Demario Davis. We know what he is. You've got Cam Jordan, 2.5 sacks last year. He's on the back end of the career. We've got, Honey Badger. He's on the back half of the career. You kind of got Lattimore, who's in that spot where he's going to be 28, I think. 28.
Yeah.
He's getting up there.
He's getting older, especially at the defensive back position. And then offensively, I'm even more confused because you paid Taysom all that money, and he's playing every third snap. But then it's a gadget play, and it works, for an ESPN clip every once in a while. And then you got Carr, who I think we know what Carr is. It's just a group of guys that we've seen what they are. We've seen the ceilings, and they're all on the back end of those ceilings, if not, well past it. And so it's like, throwing a rock into a lake and expecting it to turn into the ocean. It's like something, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think they are where they are until they figure it out financially, and I don't see a way out besides shipping all those guys off.
That's pretty much where you're at. That's where you're at.
Do the Panthers finish with a better record than the Saints?
It's debatable. It definitely is definitely debatable. I would have to look at schedules side by side and literally break down game by game, but I definitely think it's debatable.
Yeah, the only reason I would say the Panthers will still finish last, worse record-wise, is because we're talking about two teams, and the thing that we mentioned with the Saints, we didn't mention with the Panthers, is that the Saints have those household guys that have been around, have done it.
Right.
Now, they're not in their primes by any stretch of the imagination, but you look at the overall body of work that the Saints have in terms of a roster, the overall body of work the Panthers have. The Panthers have young guys that we're hoping to get something out of them. The Saints are guys that have done it and are just doing it at a less elite level than they were. So we'll see. It'll be those two fighting for that spot, I think, for the third and fourth spot, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Atlanta Falcons. This is, to me, the most intriguing team. They finished second last year.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunities here are endless. We talked about Arthur Smith before the Trace. I'm going to let you start this one off because you brought up Arthur Smith being gone before we started the show. So kick this one off, man. The Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, Mr. FedEx is out. You get a guy from the McVay coaching tree in Coach Morris. Obviously, he's got what it takes. I've seen a couple of clips of him as far as his meetings with the guys. I think he brings the right intensity, the right demeanor as a head coach you want in the NFL. He's not so hard-headed. We're going to see Kyle Pitts get the ball, I think, for the first time in his career, which is huge.
Thank God.
Yes.
They've wasted him essentially up to this point, throwing triple reverse red zone to Kadarrell Hodge, but don't get me started on that. So we'll see Kyle Pitts actually be what he is, which I think is a receiver. He's not a blocker. We know that. He's a receiver. We've got Kirk Cousins, who is an obvious upgrade from Desmond Ridder.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively is where things for the Falcons are interesting. And then you do have Coach Morris, who is a defensive-minded guy. I think he'll get them right. We see with like D'Amico Ryans, you get these guys who are defensive-minded head coaches, and they typically are successful, especially in the early tenure of their career. They lost a couple guys defensively, like Oluokun, and offensively, it'll be a huge improvement. Now, do I expect them to make a huge jump, make a push? They could be fighting for a playoff spot? Could win. I could see them win the division. fighting for a playoff spot. But I do not think that they have a realistic chance against San Francisco. I don't think they have a realistic chance against Detroit. Even Green Bay, who I think is going to be really good next year. So they're a step above the two teams we talked about previously, but I don't see the end game. And then you get into the draft, you've got the whole Michael Penix debacle.
I can't believe
on there. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm gonna tee it up. B-Hill, obviously you didn't like that pick.
Dude,
Talk about it.
Why sign Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million deal? You know you have question marks on the defensive side of the ball, and you're going to waste the number 9 pick on freaking Michael Penix Jr. or the number 8 pick, whatever it was. Dude, that was stupid. It was just stupid. And you, like Trace just mentioned, you got Raheem Morris. He's a defensive-minded coach. Don't you think that it would have been nice if they could have gotten a Dallas Turner off the edge? Now, granted, I'm glad that they didn't because my Vikings were able to trade up and get him, whatever. But my thing is, man, is it's like, why pay Kirk Cousins all that money? Why not just go out there and pick, not pay Kirk Cousins that money, right? Have a little bit of money to play with in free agency, and then go draft Michael Penix that way, or vice versa. Go draft a top-end defensive player and move on. Because I think Kirk Cousins has 1 to 2 years. Now, here's the thing, though, that I do want people to pump the brakes on, man. I absolutely think it's blasphemy how that, like, the social media, everybody – Kirk Cousins is all of a sudden a good damn quarterback now, right? He didn't get none of this damn love when he was in Minnesota whatsoever. You heard me? And all the dude did was put up numbers. Now, granted, we didn't always get the success that we would have wanted. We never won a damn Super Bowl. But Kirk Cousins was a top 10 quarterback when he was in Minnesota. I think that we can make that argument. There might be people that will tell me top 15. Whatever. But here's the thing, man. He never got that love like this. Like, Kirk Cousins all of a sudden is a bona fide top 10 quarterback coming off a damn Achilles injury, my guy. Like, are we serious right now? It's cool, though. I'm cool with it. I'm a Vikings fan. I'm just kind of a little salty about that. That's all I'm saying. That's damn. But that's where I'm at with it. But the Falcons, man, it's going to be the Panthers, Saints, and Falcons all ain't going to finish. They're going to finish under 500. Yeah. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Okay.
Mark my words.
No, I think the Falcons settled on Kirk Cousins, and then they got to the draft, and they were like, oh. Well, we didn't know Penix was.
No, they did not settle on Kirk Cousins.
Well, you know
years,
what I mean.
$180 million, my guy. You don't settle
for that. That was the plan until they found a new plan.
No, it was not. They did not settle, my friend. That was their free agent they wanted.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, that's why the Vikings were like, okay, go right again.
But they found their backup plan, is what I'm saying, B. Right?
But,
and it's almost the Packers model. What do we praise the Packers for doing?
Backup plan.
The past 30 years.
The Packers
drafting a quarterback, letting them sit for 3 years, letting them learn.
Hold up for a second.
And then play when you're ready.
No, that's not the Packers motto, what they just did. You don't pay a quarterback 4 years, $180 million, and then turn around and draft his replacement the same damn offseason. You don't do that.
The Packers did it with Aaron Rodgers. They paid him, and then they
didn't pay him no 4 years, $180 million, my guy.
They paid him. Gave him a 3-year contract for almost $50 million a year, B.
In the same
and then drafted Jordan Love.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, though, the biggest difference between those two teams is
he was already there, though.
Well, and Love was 20 years old when he got drafted. Right? And so now you got Penix, who's gonna be I think he's 25.
25?
I think he's
25 already.
Is that fair?
Well, he'll be 25 this year, and so you let him sit for 3 and 4, and now he's going to be 27, 28 before he even gets to touch the field. Whereas Jordan Love sat 4 years, and now he's 25. He's got at least 10 good years ahead of him.
I wanted Michael Penix in Minnesota. I'm just going to throw that out there.
More than JJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might regret saying that. JJ may come out here and ball out, whatever. I don't know.
I'm not a believer.
Yeah, I know, and he's a
No.
Viking too, so he's not getting no love.
Yeah.
The only one that gives us love in the media is Dan Orlowski. That's the only one, and that's like, oh God. You know what I mean? Like, I hate hearing that guy talk. But anyway, that's just you were probably teammates with Dan Orlowski, right?
I was. I
Yeah,
was for 2 years.
he's
Yeah.
absolutely trash as an analyst. If you got his number, let him know I said that. Like for real, he's trash.
I will.
Trash. I could do way better than that. ESPN, if you're out there, I'm your Dan Orlowski right
You
here.
found your next guy.
Only that,
telling
you got to be good at making some hot ass takes. You got to say some outlandish stuff sometimes. That's pretty much what he does.
That's true.
So,
He
all right, let's
said
get
that
some-
JJ McCarthy was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, my guy. No, sir. It's not going to happen.
happy with him.
Mm-mm.
You should be happy. That should make you just tickled.
That's
inside.
unreal. No, because that's unrealistic expectations, my friend. I don't go for that stuff.
Yeah, I'll hold my tongue on that one. I would be, yeah.
Mm-mm.
What if he
Not
is?
gonna happen.
Are y'all gonna come back and apologize? UB, you gonna come back and apologize?
He's not gonna be because he ain't even starting the season, bro. He's already been ruled the backup, my guy, or the
I
backup.
will
I think Nick
apologize.
Mullins is the backup. I think he's like third string right now, my guy.
Yeah, I'll write him an apology letter. I'll come on here and read it to him.
No, I'll say sorry too. I'll
Yeah.
say sorry. I'd
All
gladly say sorry because if he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, that means my team was.
That means y'all
good.
did something.
We made the playoffs.
Right?
We probably made the playoffs.
You'd be happy about it.
Hell yeah, I would.
All right.
I wouldn't be upset. I just don't see it. That's where I'm at.
I got you.
Next, sorry, we're getting off
Either,
topic
just
here.
to be clear. Yeah, just to be clear, I don't see that either. But it'd be wild. Crazier things have happened. Let's just be clear about that.
We gotta talk about the best team in this division, my guy.
Let's make this one quick. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, last year's defending champs. Baker Mayfield got the bag. We understand. I like Rashawn White at running back. They probably will repeat. There you go. That's my son.
Mike Evans, Godwin, they're still balling. They got Baker getting them the ball over here, my guy. Baker Mayfield got a damn chance. He actually has a coach for consecutive years for the first time in his career. He's got some stabilization.
Is it going to be different without Dave Canales?
It's amazing. Hey, it's amazing what can happen to a player when he gets in the right system. Hey, stop hating, dog.
Though, can I ask that? The guy that changed him is gone. He went to Carolina. The guy that brought him back from whatever he was, right?
But he still got the same head coach, though. Same head coach.
Yeah, we'll see.
It matters.
Todd Bowles is a defensive guy.
Todd Bowles is his guy, though. He believed in him, and he got him paid, my guy. He got.
But who's calling the plays? That's what I'm saying.
He's got.
That's important.
Corey, listen. He's not with the Cleveland Browns, okay? Who's just a trash organization, and he's not with the Panthers no more. He's actually with the stabilized organization.
Yeah.
You feel me?
So we're forecasting good things for Baker. What do you got, Trace?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of at the point too with him where we're figuring it out. Like he's not going to be your 40 touchdown, 8-pick guy. He's going to give you 24 touchdowns. He's going to give you 12 picks. He's going to, be a leader in the locker room. He's going to win you games that you should win and probably lose you some games that you could win. But playing 6 games against the teams that we've talked about to this point is like taking candy from a kid. So,
yep.
I think Rachaad White is extremely underrated. I think their defense with Todd Bowles is going to be vastly improved from last year. You've got an all-pro guy in Antoine Winfield. You've still got Vita Vea. You've got pieces there. You're waiting on some young guys like you have
Antoine Winfield Jr. in the back end.
Yes, and stud, absolute stud.
They lost one of those corners, though. They lost Davis, I think.
That's okay.
And they're thin at corner, which is not, now's not the time to be thin at that position in the NFL. But
they can get away with it in this division, I believe, though.
I do too.
You know what I mean?
I do too.
I saw a stat the other day offensively. There's no reason to expect anything less than 1,000 yards from Mike Evans. There's 3 guys that have 10,000-yard seasons or more, and it was Randy Moss, Mike Evans, and I believe the last one was T.O. It was somebody crazy.
And Mike Evans is literally the most underrated player in all of football. I do not care what anybody says. That dude, all he does is line up, like you just said, and get 1,000 yards every year. Consistently.
Yeah, no matter
who.
Yeah, no matter who's throwing it to him.
Like, bro, man.
Fantasy sleeper, by the way.
And there was some tough years there in Tampa Bay for him too, man. He had all three of us could have went out there and gave him better balls than what he was getting.
Yeah.
So, and he was.
I think you put them in any other division realistically, and it's like maybe we're talking about a second and third, fourth. Like you go to the AFC North and throw Tampa Bay in there, and it's they're finishing last, right?
Yeah.
But they're not.
You said NFC North?
The AFC North.
AFC North.
I was going to say NFC North. We finishing last.
Hey, JJ for offensive rookie of the year. We're waiting on.
JJ, yeah. Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
I forgot.
But they're not. Like I said, they get 6 games against the guys we talked about. So I don't see really any surprise outside of Kirk Cousins having like a coming back from the Achilles and essentially being the same or better. Outside of that, they should finish first.
I honestly, I want to talk about something real quick. As far as from a pure business perspective, I get why Kirk Cousins left Minnesota. But if you think about from a team around you perspective, he's actually an idiot for what he did. I get it. He got paid and he wasn't going to get that kind of money staying in Minnesota. But man, you went from throwing to Justin Jefferson, Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Now your ass got Drake London and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. The only position that's better, I would say, that's better from the Falcons to the Vikings
running back.
is Bijan.
Running back.
Yeah.
And that's because Aaron Jones ain't a slouch.
Right.
Ty Chandler is possibly one of the he might be a fantasy breakout this year. So as far as a good player. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. I just wanted to ask that because I was just like, why do that?
Yeah.
Why?
It's I know he's got a lot of family. Kirk he's got family down in Atlanta too, so I think it had a lot to do with that. And cool. Then take the bag.
I'm good with it though because it was time for us to move on anyway.
Yeah, it was
with or without him, we wasn't winning no damn Super Bowl, so no matter to me.
Yeah.
See you later, bud. But all right, let's move on to this AFC here, Corey.
Let's do it. Starting off with the Tennessee Titans in the AFC North. They finished last year. I want to say they were 6-11. But they made some key additions, guys. Tyler Boyd. They still got D-Hop. I want to say there was another receiver. Who's the other receiver? Calvin Ridley. He came over. They got Tony Pollard. You still got Tajay Spears, who I loved last year in his backup role to Derrick Henry. I mean, there's a lot of pieces there to work with. I think they're going to be way more competitive. I don't know if the pecking order will change so much because just to forecast the rest of this division, 2-9-8 teams, 10-7. So, I mean, they're going to be up against it, but they'll be way more competitive in my opinion. So I'll take it over to one of you guys.
Go ahead, Trace.
This is my hot take for tonight. Knowing we were talking about these 2 South divisions, I think Will Levis ends up being in the Pro Bowl this year.
Whoa.
I like it.
Yeah.
Super hot take.
Yeah.
I like the way he played last year.
I know. Hey, pack AFC, and we'll get into some of these other teams in the South, but I think obviously there's going to be a Mahomes or a Burrow or an Allen in the Super Bowl, presumably, that won't get to play in the Pro Bowl. So I'm talking replacement. He's not going to be the first ballot. But I think Levis gets in. Just seeing the jump that he made from when he started, the beginning of the season. I know he didn't start the first week, but when he did start until his progression, week 15, 16, 17, you could see he was no longer a rookie quarterback. And that's really what a lot of rookie seasons are for, especially at that position. It takes 18 to 24 months for you to get acclimated to the league because you don't even know what the heck left from right is, right? So
Absolutely.
he's got the intangibles. Dude, the only knock on him from me is he puts mayonnaise in his coffee, which is weird.
That's a true story too.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. But I think he's got the weapons. They don't have the offensive line, but when you've got the 1-2 punch of Spears and Pollard, who I think
I like that.
Pollard's best in the role that we've seen him in before last year in Dallas was spell. He's a third down back. Now you get Tajay Spears running on first and second and short. You get Pollard in. He's got D-Hop, like we said. He's got Ridley now, who I still think has a little bit. I'm not super high on him, but I think he's better than Nick Westbrook-Akine, right? And so
I like the tight end too. What's the tight end? Chiggy?
Yeah. I'm not even going to try.
Okonkwo, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gosium, something. He's an underrated tight end. I think they struggle offensive line, as we know, which is what they went with this year in the draft. And if they can protect him, the dude's got all the arm talent in the world. We've seen it. He can get it all. He can put it anywhere in any place of the field. I think their defense is going to be really, I think their defense will be good. You've still got some older guys. You lost Kevin Byard, of course, but he's getting up there anyway. But they've got some younger guys and some older guys that I think will really make some plays for them. But I think the offense will finish in the top, 10, 12 range in terms of points per game, yards per game. I think they'll be lethal.
You want me to be real?
Yeah. I think they're going to surprise people.
Always.
Can I just rain on this parade here?
Oh, yeah.
I love everything that you said. Not bad points. Great point. They're going to finish last in this division again, guys. Come on. Will Levis. I'm sorry. I love that. That was a hot take, super hot. I'm not a believer in that. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to disagree with that take. That's what we do here at the House Divided. We have things that we agree on, and we have things that we disagree on.
You'd be bored if we agreed on everything.
This is definitely one of those things that I'm going to totally disagree on with that, Trace. I don't see that. I'm sorry. I think losing a Derrick Henry in that backfield is going to actually hurt them. I don't think that helps you in any way. I mean, even though he was on the latter part of his career, Derrick Henry was still Derrick Henry. But,
for sure.
But I do like the addition of a Tony Pollard. I think D-Hop is way past his prime. This ain't the same D-Hop. This is like Julio Jones with the Falcons. Or, no, this is like Julio Jones whenever he went to Tampa Bay type
no.
player. Yeah, I think so. D-Hop.
He's not that far gone yet.
Bro, he's not got it no more.
Hey, you got
it. He's not got it like that no more.
You got to ask.
It might be a little better than that. You
got to ask Corey about our fantasy league last year. When I got D-Hop back, he led the league in yards for like 6 weeks.
Here's the reason why I say they're going to finish last, though, and we're going to get into this when we break down the rest of this division, guys. Everybody else is just better. They just are. The Colts are even better than them. That's the next team we're about to talk about. But it's like I look at that team and then I look at the rest of that division. You're going to play 6 games against those. They'll be lucky to win one of those 6, maybe 2 on best. So right there, you got 4 to 5 losses right off the bat. They're just they did get that kid out of Alabama, though, the left tackle, the big guy. I can't remember the guy's name. That's who they drafted in the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
So that was a nice pickup that they made, but there's still a little bit of time. They're a little ways to go, so we'll see. They're going to be competitive in games. They'll be tough to beat, but they're going to finish last. It's just where I'm at with it. They got the worst quarterback in the division, man. They just do.
That's a hot take too.
I'm taking Anthony Richardson over him. I'm just saying.
And most people will. Most people will. I think look. Go with Trace on this one. I think D-Hop has a lot left in his tank. I like the addition of Ridley. I like the Tyler Boyd addition. I think Tajay is going to have a breakout year, being in that lead back role. One of these 3 teams that we're about to talk about is going to fall. I'm just telling you, that's the way it works in the NFL.
Yeah,
I did it 8 years.
I
Teams
agree.
that you think are going to be really good wind up 5-12 or 4-12. Back when there was 16 games,
Yeah.
I expect one of these three is going to drop off. I think he can get third. You know what I mean? But I think they're going to be way more competitive. Way more. To me, it's not. They didn't have this team last year. They didn't have these kind of players on offense last year.
I would agree.
So.
And you're kind of getting away from the ground and pound game. You might be able to sling that thing a little bit more, you know what I mean? Because you do have some receivers
It'll open up.
Sling it too. Okay. I mean, sorry.
Honestly, they're playing to that. You still got last. They're playing to the division because this division is heavy on offensive firepower. So here we go.
Yep.
Indianapolis.
I like them.
For second or third, however you want to say it, they tied with the Jaguars last year. So we'll start with them. Shane Steichen in his second season, they were a game away from the playoffs. Anthony Richards, 4 games? 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How many did he play?
4.5.
Yep.
4.5. So, I mean, that was it. They got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. They got Adonai Mitchell, am I saying that right, from Texas?
Yep.
They got him in the draft. The receiver room is going to be really great. Richardson, I think, have a breakout year. B-Hill, I'm with you on that. I see him being really scary.
I do too.
And I don't know much about the defense, but in this division, I think if you can guard on the back end with the receivers in this division, then you'll have a good chance. So, Trace, you'll probably know much more about the defense than I do, but that's where I see him right now.
I like this team, man. This is kind of like my sleeper pick from like a team last year that was kind of on that fringe. I think that they could definitely make a playoff push this year, the Colts, just because I like Anthony Richardson, man. I do. I think that kid's special. The Colts too, man. Like, let's just go back. They don't make many bad decisions at quarterbacks when they draft them. They just don't historically. You know, they had Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck. They had Peyton Manning before. I mean, come on, dude. This is an organization that's been pretty damn good at drafting quarterbacks, and they've been pretty good at developing them as well. So I think that they're just going to do the same thing with an Anthony Richardson. The thing is, though, is what Anthony Richardson adds to the game. None of those other guys really had what he has as far as like being able to take off. But his arm, if they can just get his mechanics straightened out and get everything the way that they need it to be NFL-wise, the sky is up. It's up. Just going to keep going up.
I thought you were about to say the ceiling is a roof.
Ceiling
is
the roof.
Michael Jordan.
Ceiling, it's way up there, my guy. It's way up there. I like him.
You like him?
So, I do.
Possible wild card for you? Not division winner though, right? You saying wild card?
They're not going to win the division.
Okay.
If I had to put a number on, I could see them fighting for like second or third place, and that's going to be with the next team we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think that they're a little better than Jacksonville, though. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I'm with Big Hill as far as what I think the potential for Anthony Richardson is. The biggest difference between his take and my take is we're pretty much starting with a rookie, right? I mean, essentially, we're starting with a guy that he's got the mental reps as far as being in the NFL for the amount of time he has, but he's only got 16 quarters that he's played.
Right.
So we're talking about a division that is good. I mean, we've got good teams in this division. And so, playing at the quarterback position, and I don't see it with this receiving group comparatively to some of the other teams in especially the AFC. Josh Downs, I think, is good. I think A.D. Mitchell will be a player. At the tight end position, you've got Granson and some other guys that are just
they're weak there.
I hear you there. Overall, though, the most important position on the field is the quarterback position, and I think that Anthony Richardson can make those guys better, and Michael Pittman's not a slouch.
Yeah, and Pittman's good. I don't want to disrespect him by any stretch.
I'm with it.
But a position we haven't talked about is the running back position, and I am very much anti-pay the running backs. To be honest with you guys, I don't. If I was a GM, what I would do every year is draft a guy, play out his rookie deal, and he can go wherever he wants at age 27, and I'm getting the next one. And I think we may be seeing that. I hope not, for the sake of the league with JT. I think we see kind of a step back again from him that we did. You've got an older offensive line. Your defense is very inexperienced as far as outside of everyone except for Zaire Franklin, who was a tackling machine last year. You have young defensive backs that very thin at that position.
Right.
We had the guy, the debacle, I can't even remember his name right now, the gambling corner that got in trouble for gambling, the little nickel guy.
I know what you're talking about.
You got AR. Yeah. And so if I had to put a number to it, I think they stay where they are, except I'm going to call it third instead of tied for second. I think they stay at third.
Right.
I think they probably win 2 or 3 more games, maybe than they did last year, but I think they may lose 2 or 3 games that they expected.
Okay, I was going to say they win 2 or 3 more games than they did last year.
They're winning it. No.
Or winning the damn division,
No.
one or the other.
And they played close games last year. I think they are. I don't see them turning the corner yet. Now this time next year is going to be a different story after I see AR-15 for a season.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's kind of where I'm at.
I just don't think they're there yet.
Okay. I like that.
You said something that stood out. You remember that year Jonathan Taylor had like 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns? Was that 2021?
Yep.
Somewhere around there. He hasn't been the same since.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he hasn't been the same. He's still been a very good back. Just the production has
just
been doing this. Right?
And, you see there's a study, and I can't even tell you who did it, but I saw it last year about the number of carries that a back gets in his career from high school to the NFL, and at a certain point you just spurt out. You got a guy in Jonathan Taylor that led the country in rushing attempts for 3 years in a row, right? Before he got to the league. Yeah, and then he broke out. He's fresh, and we're getting to that threshold where we're getting to the number of snaps and the number of carries where things just don't work the same, as they used to. So we'll see.
It's a lot of wear and tear.
That's a shame. That's a shame too, how the running back position's like that. But it's what it is. That's the most. That's the most grueling position in all of football.
Yeah,
it's the most grueling.
But it's the easiest to transition from college to pro as well. Right. And so what Trey said is paramount. I mean, dude, you can plug. I mean, Tajay Spears. Remember B-Hill when Tajay came out of Tulane, and we both was like, dude, whoever gets him in the draft, they're gonna be set up, right? It's just you can find one. And Tajay went like 3rd or 4th round, I believe. I don't even think he went the first day.
No.
So, good point, man. All right, Jacksonville, the Jaguars, 8-3 last year before Trevor Lawrence had an ankle injury, I believe, and missed the game, and they wound up going from 8-3 to 9-8. So. Who wants to take this one first?
I got this. I got this one, man.
Here we go.
Trevor Lawrence. I've never been a believer in the dude, man. I just haven't. I've never been a believer in Trevor Lawrence. I think he's been one of the most overhyped and overrated players his whole entire career, even from the time he was back at Clemson. When he won that national title at Clemson, that wasn't him, man. That was his damn surrounding core. That was that defense.
That was that D-line.
The defensive line. Like, come on, bro. He was nice and everything. They handled their business. But I just think that just the praise that he gets, man, it's like this little – to me, it reminds me like a Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just like a little pretty boy out there.
The hair.
I don't know, man. I'm just not a believer in him. And he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Now, granted, they finished over 500 last year. They were competitive. You know what I mean? I like Travis Etienne. I like Zay Jones. I like some of the weapons that they have out there. But I don't know, man. I just see him kind of taking a step back this year. Trevor Lawrence got paid, though. So congrats to him, man. But, again, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're desperate for somebody to throw money at. Remember, they gave Blake Bortles a big contract. Let's just not forget that, okay? So – that's just where I'm at with them, man. I'm just not a believer in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that they're finishing in third place. I think the Colts step above them, and I think that they fall back. It's just where I'm at.
Yeah. Here's my second hot take of the day, fellas.
Bring it.
Yeah, get hold on your seats. I think this team finishes last.
Oh yeah,
Ooh, so
I
that's
love
the
it.
one you got dropping
love it.
out, huh?
I love it.
That's the one. I think. Yeah, I think they finished last, and the reason that I'm looking at their depth chart here, and they've got the weapons offensively. We know it. They went out and got Gabe Davis, who was Mr. 0 yards or 160 and 3 touchdowns.
I hate that guy. Hate that guy.
Evan Ingram had the most. What was it? The most receptions by a tight end ever last year, and barely hit 1,000 yards. So we got a guy that's catching a lot of 5-yard hitches. So that's cool. They got Mac Jones. Mac Jones moves the needle a ton as far as team morale, I think. So that's good. I am a fan of Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas was overshadowed a lot at LSU just because of the guys that they had at his position, as we all know. They are not good at the offensive line. You got a rookie at right tackle, Anton Harrison, who they got in the first round.
I like him, though. High upside.
Yeah, he does. And upside's the word with him. He's got a ways to go, right? Yep. And then you've got left tackle, you've got Cam Robinson, who we know how that goes. We went out and got Eric Armstead, who is 33, right? And then defensively, like Trayvon Walker, we got the number 1 overall pick, and people don't even talk about him 2 years down the line, right?
Not at all.
Very little noise. You got Ronald Darby and Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell was the second, 34th overall pick 2 years ago. No one talks about him. They went and got Darnell Savage because the Packers didn't want him anymore. Defensively, it's on paper to me. I think this year is going to be one of the worst in the league. Offensively, I think they'll be good. I think they're going to take a step down. I agree with B. Hill. I think paying Trevor Lawrence that kind of money is absolutely insane for what he's given you so far. Because if you guys remember, this team, they had the collapse last year. The year before that in the playoffs was the historic,
comeback.
Historic comeback. And then they played really good against the Chiefs and then collapsed in that game. And so it's like they're making moves and losing guys all in the same rate. It's like they're not getting any better. They're not getting any worse, but we're now paying Trevor Lawrence an exuberant amount of money to be what he's been, which
who's his agent?
Man, it needs to be me.
Yeah, good agent.
Just a hell of an agent.
I'm telling you, what his agent argued is 2 years ago, my quarterback took you to the divisional round and you lost against the eventual Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Last year, my quarterback had you at 8-3, and then he got hurt and the wheels fell off. That's the picture his agent painted for the Jaguars. Now, if you hear that and you look at it not with your eyes but hear that, it sounds good. It sounds like Trevor's been putting in work. But I tend to agree with you guys. 2 years ago, I would have paid him. Last year, after last year, because to be honest, even in that 8-3 start, he wouldn't have set the world on fire. Mm-hmm. It was more about ETN, and they were better defensively in the beginning of the year, and then it fell apart. I think the whole team fell apart. You know what I mean? And so I wouldn't have paid him. I can see why they were scared shitless. Hey, we might lose him. You know what I mean? We built this whole thing around them for the past 3 years. We drafted them number 1 overall. Right. Do we really want to reset? Do we really want to let him test the market? Do we really want to piss him off? Right?
Yeah, you might want to. Do it.
Do
it.
It's the Jaguars, though, man. And you got to think about the Jaguars, their perspective. We have who a lot of people are saying is the next guy. And if we let him go, we're going to look like the Jaguars again, right?
Yeah. He's not the next guy.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Like, bro, Joe Burrow was drafted the year after him, but that's the next guy. That's the one. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, that's the next guy. Trevor Lawrence isn't even in the same breath with them.
No.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's when I'm looking at that kind of stuff. I'm comparing guys. Okay, Patrick Mahomes. Okay, we got Joe Burrow. Okay, Lamar Jackson. Those type of guys. Those are the dudes right now in the league. If you ain't up there or you ain't striving to get up there, he's just not there, man.
I think.
He's
Let me
not
ask
gonna
you
get
this: would
there.
you take him on the Vikings right now?
No,
Over JJ McCarthy or Sam Darnold?
no, because he costs way much more and way more. We got guys that I like what my Vikings did, Corey. I'm cool. We got Sam Darnold for 1 year at $10 million.
Yeah.
What if he comes over here and has a Baker Mayfield type season?
I guess what I'm asking is, what was the alternative? If you're not paying them, what's the alternative?
Exactly. What's the alternative? You go out there and get you a bridge quarterback and draft one of these quarterbacks from this last draft that we just had. So that's the alternative.
Like Mac Jones?
You try to make a trade for him. No, you try to make a trade up. You try to trade up.
Yeah.
Try to trade up. You package him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's a little package deal. There's a team out there dumber than the Jacksonville Jaguars that'll pay him too. You know what I mean? There's going to be somebody. The New York Giants would line up at the front door to get Trevor Lawrence right now after what they just did with Daniel Jones. So that's what I'm saying, Corey.
I got you. Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the psyche, where you coming from. I get it.
Are you sitting here telling?
I probably wouldn't have paid him. I understand why Jacksonville did it, though.
So
is what I'm saying.
And that's why Jacksonville is going to continue to be the organization that they have for their whole entire mediocrity, because they're trash. And that's what they do.
They went to the AFC Championship in 2017.
With Blake Bortles. My God.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles.
Hey.
They had a pretty damn good defense over there on that other side, though.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real. Those dudes was nasty. They was nasty.
I don't think Calvin Harris in that.
It wasn't Tom Brady. It was Tom Brady that beat him too, wasn't it?
It was Ramsey and AJ Boye.
Yes, that's what it was.
Nasty. Lockdown.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady with a bunch of white guys beat him.
Was it Chris Hogan?
Julian Edelman.
Julian Edelman.
It was. He ain't lying. Running the little slant routes, little dig routes all day, bro. That's all they was doing. Little hitches, little outs. Let me hit this little out route, or the little running back sweep play, halfback sweep. I do that all the time. So
all right. Last one.
This team right here, buddy.
Texans.
They're a problem.
On Diggs. Added Joe Mixon. This is after going to the divisional round. 10-10 at halftime, and then wound up losing 31-10 to the Ravens. So, to me, this is the clear front runner. I'm going to let one of y'all kick it off, but the way I see it, this is the team that should probably win the division. With Tank Dell coming back, Nico Collins, Stephon, the defense, Will Anderson. You already know what they're about to cook up on defense. It'll be all those guys, those young pieces, their second year in that defense. So I'll let one of y'all take it.
It's going to either be that, Corey, or they're going to fall flat on their face.
And you know what? I've been tempted. I've been kicking that around, B. Because usually that's how it happens, is that sophomore slump, especially for the quarterback. Yep. You got to think about CJ Stroud. Everybody's been glazing this dude ever since last year ended. Like, the glaze for CJ Stroud is ridiculous. I got a fantasy football magazine over here. He's number 5, right? Okay, and he finished as the QB 11 last year, and we just talking about fantasy. The glazing is everywhere, so I'll let one of y'all.
It is. I mean, he deserves it. He balled out last year. Don't get me wrong.
He balled out, but he can get. What happens to guys like that, especially as a rookie, you think you got to figure it out.
Oh no, it's the NFL.
You know, you're podcasting with your boy from the Cowboys, Parsons. You're in freaking Japan. Y'all are taking trips. We see you with Amber Rose. You know what I mean? Like, not to say that you can't live your life.
Amber Rose, hold up. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think it was much of nothing. I'm just saying that he gave her a ride from a party. I mean, they were leaving together.
It was something.
QB1.
Yeah. He gave her a ride. QB1 for real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if there was ever a situation for somebody to have a sophomore slump, this is a tailor-made situation. But I still think they'll get it done. I think he's too good. I don't think he's that kind of guy You know what I mean? So I'll let one of y'all take it.
I love the addition of Danielle Hunter on the edge. I think
I
Danielle
ain't
Hunter
talking about that,
is an absolute stud. Stephon Diggs, he's probably, I mean, we can argue he might be their third best receiver.
I think he is.
He
is
might
too.
be, and that's a pretty damn good third wide receiver, even though he's 30 years old. I mean, Diggs could probably still give you 800 to 900 yards. And
Yeah.
if they get that, you know what I mean? You got Tank down, Nico Collins is going to be over there
Yeah.
doing their thing too. That field's going to be wide open. It's hard for me to believe that he's going to have a sophomore slump. I don't believe that he is. I think C.J. Stroud is a very good quarterback. I think he's talented, and I think he's showing the world that. I get where you could think it could kind of fall off a little kilter. I don't think it's going to, though, man. I like this team. What they did in the offseason, they pushed all the chips to the middle of the table. They got this little window where he's underneath that rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
He does what he did last year again. He gonna be holding out in the offseason wanting that paper. So this is their time. It's now. I think the Texans are going to be one of those teams that's going to be in like an AFC championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs this year, fighting it out to see who goes to the Super Bowl, or the Bengals. It's going to be between them, the Bengals, and the Chiefs right now. That's my three top teams in the AFC.
I love
that's where I'm at. Oh, I love the Bengals. I love it.
Me too.
I love it. Joe Burrow. Yeah. I like him.
I think the signing that we're not talking about enough from this team is a guy that I know all too well in Joe Mixon. I know everyone was talking about Stephon Diggs. We know who he is. And if he is the wide receiver 3, guys, that's where things go off the rails, right?
Yeah.
We know exactly what type of dude we're dealing with. And Nico Collins, I think Nico Collins, honestly, is their best receiver. I think Tank Dell is a close second, and I think Stephon Diggs is third.
Yep.
I think where this team changed the most offensively is with the addition of Joe Mixon. Now, they still got Pierce, but Mixon, since he's older, and I know I just went on this rant about older running backs, but when you've got 2 guys that can carry it, you've got a fresh Joe Mixon that can give you 18 carries a game instead of 27 carries a game like we had to early in his career in Cincinnati. It opens up the play-action passing game for C.J. Stroud tenfold, where they didn't really have a run game last year. Like Damian Pierce had a really bad year. Singletary was there and didn't do anything, right? And so they knew, like teams knew the Texans were going to air it out, and they still couldn't really stop them.
Right.
Now, I think things do change with Stephon Diggs. I think he makes a big deal out of nothing a lot of the times. Like he's just that stereotypical
crybaby
receiver, right? And so I think if anything were to go wrong, it would be revolving around that guy. You know, it's always been somebody else's fault on every team he's played on.
Why do you think the Vikings got rid of him when they did? And why do you think the Bills just got rid of him when they did, man?
Yep.
He's a crybaby.
Yeah.
They suck the energy out of your locker room.
That's what he does.
Right. I think they've got one of the best, if not the best, left tackle in football in Laramie Tunsil. And then defensively, like B Hill talked about, they got Danielle Hunter, and they got went out and got Danielle Hunter. Excuse me.
I knew you were gonna do that. I made the same.
Excuse me, Mr. Hunter, if you were able to see this.
Hey, that's my guy. I still got love for you, Danielle.
Yeah.
It's all love, bro.
I think Christian Harris is a beast. Al Shahir, you know, when he came over from San Francisco, D'Amico's turned him into an even better player. Yeah. Will Anderson is going to continue. He's my Anthony Richardson of the defensive side in the AFC South, right, where it's like he's just going to get better until he turns about 32. And then you've got young guys too. Stingley's a stud. Petrie's a stud. Those guys on the back end, and they're ball hawks. So
yep.
I don't see, outside of a Stephon Diggs, Antonio Brown-esque tirade, I don't see this team not winning this division.
They'll win it even if he does that. They don't need him to win. They really don't.
They don't. I just think being a locker room cancer, if he were to do something like that, it could hurt the team more so than we think it may. I don't think you need him to win at all, which is why I didn't agree with them going out and getting him in the first place, because now you've got John Mechie, who was a good wide receiver 3 last year. And you've got Dalton Schultz, who we didn't even mention, at the tight end.
Exactly.
Did go and get him.
Right. And so they've got playmakers, and to bring in a guy like that was I think it was a wrong move on,
It's a chips to the middle of the table.
It is,
move.
and it's going in, and it's saying, we can't afford this guy when CJ gets paid, so we're going to go get him for a year or two right now, and we'll see what happens.
And
they did it for a first rounder too, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Hey, D'Amico Ryans ain't gonna let his locker room get disgruntled. I don't think.
I wouldn't think so.
What that guy did, they literally had the number 2 pick in the draft when they drafted CJ Stroud. He literally came in there and made that team a playoff team in his first year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. He's a hell.
Let me ask you guys this: how far did they go? Right, divisional team from last year. How far can you
divisional or AFC championship? It depends who they run into in that divisional round, my guy.
Yeah,
it's all going to depend on.
I think they could beat Buffalo.
You want to miss the Chiefs, obviously.
They want to miss the Chiefs or the Bengals. They can't beat either one of those teams, in my opinion.
I agree, because of the lack of experience. The other 2 teams have been there and done it, and have done it at a high level the last 3 or 4 years, right? And so the biggest thing to me, in terms of the NFL, is playoff experience. Like, you got to get there and get popped in January and February.
Mm-hmm.
One time,
learn,
does it, right? And so, I think if they run into Cincinnati, and I think if they run into Kansas City, they're done. I think they could beat Baltimore. I think it'd be a good game. But if they played again next week,
they could beat them. I think they could beat them.
And then I think they've just passed Buffalo up as that top whatever
Buffalo
3 or 4. It's always discussed. Everyone always talks about how good Buffalo is going to be. I think Houston takes their spot.
Yeah, it's taken.
Yeah.
It's taken. It's taken. It's done. Josh Allen.
What receivers do the Buffalo Bills even have? I mean, what is Josh
Allen
Allen
do? Is their wide receiver 1?
And I've not been hearing good things coming out of that camp. You know what I mean? Like the higher ups over there are trying to temper expectations on that situation. I think he's got a little bit more learning to do than.
You know what happened? You know what happened? They had to pay Josh Allen all that money, and they lost their players. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, even before then, like outside of Diggs, they had Dawson Knox, who really didn't do anything until the end of the year.
They got Dalton Kincaid now, though.
Dalton Kincaid, who really didn't do anything until halfway through the season. And then their second best receiver last year was Gabe Davis, sort of. We know he'd go, like I said, 0 for 0 for 0, and then he'd have a good game and then 2 games in a row without a catch. So
worst player to have in fantasy football history.
Fantasy ever.
I cut him like 4 times.
I didn't draft him. I picked him up off waivers, thinking he was going to go off one week, and whenever I put him in, it just
zeros.
I'm like, and then you leave him on your bench, and he goes off. I'm like, bro, do you know what I'm doing, dog? Do you know
I'm staying away from him this year. I'm done.
I'm not touching him. I can promise you, not with a 10-foot pole.
No way.
He screwed a lot of people over.
and here's the thing, though. Here's another guy. Here's another hot take for you guys. Josh Allen is not who everybody makes him out to be. It's just not. I'm not a believer in that dude. That dude's a turnover machine.
Put a number on that, B. Hill. He's a top what?
Top 10, maybe?
Ooh.
Top 10, maybe? I got him in like the 7 to 10 range, my guy. It's debatable. You can push him out to top 10. I wouldn't be upset. I'm just not a believer in the dude, man. What's he done? What has he done? Tell me. Other than cost his team crucial games because he doesn't know how to manage the game.
B. Hill, in the last 4 years, what has any quarterback done?
Yeah, tough.
It's been the Chiefs' world the past 4 years. I mean,
and that ain't changing. It ain't changing.
Stafford's the only QB Still should have
Burrow,
been you guys.
Burrow.
I'm sorry.
Burrow.
Still, yeah. That's the only game. The past 4 years has been Chiefs,
Yeah.
in whatever order. Nobody's winning on his watch right now, right? And so we can be mad. What are these quarterbacks doing? They haven't done this. Trevor Lawrence hasn't done this. A lot of quarterbacks haven't done shit the past 4 years.
That's a good point.
This is the Chiefs' world. So,
I mean, you got C.J. Stroud that's moving up ahead of him. Lamar Jackson, you're taking ahead of him.
that's true.
You're taking Joe Burrow. You're taking Patrick Mahomes. Come on, bro. The list
That's a
keeps
good
going.
5 right there. I
see what
can
I'm
see 6
saying?
or 7, but 10 is taking it kind of far.
I said 7 to 10.
Yeah, I don't know.
You did. You backed it up a little bit.
There's
I can see
debates.
7.
There's debates out here, man. There's
I can see
debates.
7. Yeah.
Debating.
I can see 7 to 10, but outside the top 10, that's a little crazy.
He's falling outside the top 10 after this next
He's been in
season.
the AFC Championship game before.
He has nobody to
consistently in the
throw to.
playoffs.
He has nobody to throw to.
Wait, so who's jumping him? So who's jumping him?
That's because his damn division is trash. The Patriots aren't the Patriots no more. The Jets are a mediocrity. I mean, come on, bro.
Hey, I
You
think
got the Miami Dolphins. Tua, if you don't bump his damn head, he might play this week or he might not play. Come on, bro.
I got a hot take for you guys. I don't know. Have you guys talked about the East divisions yet?
We haven't.
No, that's the last
next
one.
show. That's the next show.
That's the next show.
Hey, just
save
know.
it. Save it. Come back and save it.
Yeah, I'll
come back on with us. Come back with us, and we'll talk about AFC East.
Yeah,
give us
we got
AFC
AFC East and NFC East. Oh man, we an hour into this thing, bro.
Yeah, we got.
I'll hold it.
We an hour into this thing. That'll be another hour. We do them two divisions.
Yeah. Trey, stay on when we end the show. But B Hill, close us out, man. This was a good one.
Trace, just want to say, man, appreciate you coming on again, brother.
Yeah.
You're always welcome here at the House Divided, man. For everybody else out there, if you guys are listening to this thing, you tuning into this thing, just do a few things for me. TikTok, go follow us on TikTok. My guy Corey over here has some hot takes for y'all. If y'all love fantasy football, this man right here will get your fantasy football team right. All you have to do is like and subscribe on our TikTok. Like, subscribe the video here as well on YouTube. Helps us out. Always drop down there in those comments. Post this video too on your TikTok. Put it on your Instagram. Put it on Twitter. I don't care. Share it. Follow us. Everything, guys. Help this thing grow. Other than that, peace out, y'all.
Peace.